On July 13th, former President Donald Trump narrowly escaped an assassination attempt at a rally, raising serious questions about the effectiveness of the United States Secret Service. How could such a highly regarded protection agency face such a critical failure? The answer may lie within their top-secret headquarters, where agents undergo rigorous training with advanced, almost sci-fi technology. Among their many tools is the International Ink Library, a quite strange but critical resource for solving complex crimes. What could the Secret Service possibly need with such a huge database of ink samples? And that's just the beginning. Considering the importance of the job that the Secret Service does and the expectations of the agents, the headquarters has just about all you could need inside. You'll find state-of-the-art command centers brimming with advanced technology. These rooms are the nerve centers during any major event, from presidential inaugurations to international summits. Here, agents monitor live feeds from cameras, track potential threats in real time, and coordinate with other law enforcement agencies to ensure security operations run as smoothly as possible. But the headquarters isn't just about high-pressure situations. It's also home to extensive training facilities, where agents refine their skills in everything from marksmanship to cybersecurity. Imagine a sprawling gym, not just for physical fitness, but also for practicing defensive tactics and close-quarters combat. There's also a mock town, used for simulated exercises, where agents can train in realistic environments that mimic everything from urban streets to foreign embassies. They train like Neo in The Matrix and dress as dapper as John Wick. It's a wonder how they would ever fail a mission. Moreover, the headquarters houses an impressive array of forensic labs. These labs are crucial for investigating financial crimes, a lesser-known but equally important part of the Secret Service's mission. Technicians here scrutinize counterfeit currency, analyze digital footprints left by cyber criminals, and even study the nuances of handwritten notes to uncover fraud schemes. It's a blend of old-school detective work and cutting-edge science. Now this is where all the magic happens. But the real fun stuff comes from the specific tools that they use. Obviously, the Secret Service is required to be prepared for every possible situation. So what kinds of tech does the headquarters provide that can simulate these scenarios and hopefully prevent whatever took place with Trump on July 13th from happening again? The Secret Service headquarters houses an incredibly cool piece of technology known as the Vitra simulator. State-of-the-art equipment used for testing an agent's use of force and responses under pressure. It's a 360-degree simulator that immerses the agent into various training scenarios, throwing a ton of different decisions to ensure that the agent is capable of handling such a situation should it arise in the real world. It uses real-time simulation technology to create scenarios that evolve in response to the actions of the trainees. For example, if an agent makes a decision during a simulated protective detail, the environment will adjust accordingly, introducing new challenges or threats based on that choice. The simulator uses a specially modded Glock 19 pistol that is fitted with a laser to track data on the shot. It also fires a mag filled with CO2 to help further mimic the scenario. Just imagine one of those shooting games you'd play at the arcade, but only 10 times as immersive, and you're firing an actual gun during the scenario. This type of training is incredibly important because although you can never truly mimic a real-life scenario virtually, you absolutely don't want the people in charge of keeping the commander-in-chief safe to be untrained and untested. The scenario with Trump is an example of how quickly a situation can get out of hand, so freezing up or not making an informed decision that can help save lives is not an option. But only about 50% of the people working for the Secret Service are tasked with protection duties. So what about the other half of the agency? Are they just sitting around twiddling their thumbs? Or perhaps the Secret Service has some other vital responsibilities that they take care of behind the scenes? The Secret Service headquarters receives a lot of mail, whether directed to them or given to them for investigation. And surprisingly enough, even living in this technological age we're currently in, A lot of that mail is handwritten. Sometimes these letters are threatening and worthwhile for the Secret Service to investigate. They have a few interesting ways that they go about that investigation. One of the key tools in this analysis is the International Ink Library, a comprehensive database containing over 10,000 ink samples from around the world. The library allows forensic experts to match the ink used in the letter to a specific manufacturer, and sometimes even to a particular batch. The process begins with a careful visual inspection of the ink, taking note of its color, texture, and any unique characteristics. Next, the forensic experts use special techniques to break down and analyze the ink. One method, called thin layer chromatography, works like a filter to separate the ink into its different chemical parts, such as dyes and pigments, so that they can see exactly what it's made of. By comparing these components to the samples in the International Ink Library, they can often pinpoint the exact type of ink used and identify the letter's origin. In addition to analyzing the ink, the Secret Service will also extract fingerprints from the paper. So you better hope you were wearing gloves. First, the letter is carefully examined under a high-powered microscope to identify any hidden fingerprints. Once located, these prints are treated with various chemical reagents, such as ninhydrin or cyanoacrylate or superglue fumes, which react with the amino acids in the sweat left by the fingerprint, making it visible. The treated prints are then photographed using specialized equipment to capture even the smallest of details. And you'd better believe that if you threaten someone under the Secret Service's watch, they will use that fingerprint to learn everything about you. So better pack your bags and start your life over, because they're probably already on the way to your last known address. Beyond just analyzing threatening letters, the Secret Service forensic team also has a mandate from Congress to assist all U.S. law enforcement agencies and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children with their investigations of missing and exploited child cases. On April 30, 2003, President George W. Bush signed the PROTECT Act of 2003, which is also known as the Amber Alert Bill. This expands the authority of the Secret Service to provide forensic and investigative assistance in support of any investigation involving missing or exploited children. The Secret Service also does something that may be shocking to learn is among their responsibilities: analyzing and flagging counterfeit currency. Much of the ways they painstakingly analyze any letters that find their way to the headquarters, they also put the same effort into fighting back against counterfeit currency. High-powered microscopes and various forensic techniques are used to identify telltale signs of counterfeiting, such as deviations in the paper, ink, printing techniques, and security features like watermarks and security threads. The Secret Service maintains a comprehensive database of known counterfeiters and their methods, allowing investigators to potentially link new counterfeit notes to previously identified sources. And you may think your counterfeit currency differences are so well hidden that the human eye could never even notice them? Well, unfortunately for you, the Secret Service also has software capable of finding even the smallest of changes. As smart as you may be, you're probably not smart enough to outsmart AI. As strange as it may seem that the Secret Service is the agency responsible for this job, what if I told you that countering counterfeit was actually the reason the Secret Service was founded? Let's rewind to 1865, during a time when an estimated 1/3 of U.S. currency in circulation was counterfeit, and the year the Secret Service was created. Abraham Lincoln proposed the idea to help stop this rampant counterfeiting that was taking place during the Civil War. Ironically, given the Secret Service wouldn't be tasked with protecting the president for another 30 years, the paper to establish the Secret Service was awaiting Lincoln's signature at the time of his assassination. Established as a part of the Treasury Department, they would be responsible for all things financial crimes. Not yet possessing the technology or understanding of DA and fingerprints, the Secret Service's methods had to be relatively simple by today's standards. Yet overall, they were effective for the time. They relied heavily on investigative work, often sending agents undercover to infiltrate counterfeiting rings. These agents would gather intelligence, build cases, and work with local law enforcement to arrest counterfeiters. The Secret Service also worked to improve the security of U.S. currency by collaborating with the Bureau of Engraving and Printing to enhance the design and production of banknotes, making them harder to counterfeit. Over the years, the Secret Service would expand to other investigations, from murders to bank robberies to illegal gambling. They later would assume full-time responsibility for protecting the president during Theodore Roosevelt's administration. This was prompted by the assassination of his predecessor, William McKinley, in 1901. Since the Roosevelt administration, the force has grown exponentially, been reorganized and restructured, and in 2002 it was moved out of the Department of the Treasury and into the Department of Homeland Security. As history has gone on, the technology that goes into the investigation side of the Secret Service has not been the only part that has advanced. The technology used to protect the sitting president is also incredible. I mean, have you seen the protective limos they drive him around in? The Secret Service has a facility known as the Secret Service Rally Training Center, responsible for housing and training its agents in all things vehicles. It also acts as somewhat of a museum for significant vehicles throughout Secret Service history. The stereotypical way you probably imagine a Secret Service agent driving all those black limos or Suburbans is where most of these vehicles are located. They store the presidential limo dating all the way back to the Reagan administration back in the 1980s, all the way to the Trump administration. All the vehicles are maintained and drive tested on a regular basis to make sure they can still operate despite not being fielded for the current president. The collection includes a custom-made 1993 Cadillac used during Clinton's administration and is only one of 3 that ever came off the assembly line and was used as a model for future presidential parade vehicles throughout history. This includes the 2006 model for the Bush administration that would see improved ballistics and comfort for the president. The facility also has many vehicles that are not necessarily transporting the president themselves regularly, but are part of the historical presidential motorcade. One such vehicle is one regularly used as a follow-up vehicle to the presidential limo. This particular piece of the collection was a 1983 Cadillac that was actually used to help President Reagan escape his assassination attempt in August of 1983. This place also obviously houses more current models of the presidential limo, more commonly known as the Beast. The Generation 2 Cadillac that was used during the Obama and Trump administrations, fitted with the highest level security and technology money could buy. But what specific training do agents need to go through to even get behind the wheel of some of the most high-tech vehicles in the world? Whether you're a beginner agent or a more advanced agent, the facility will put you through an advanced training regimen. They dive into driving techniques that are crucial for protecting VIPs in all sorts of situations. For instance, they practice high-speed pursuits and evasive maneuvers, which are key when things get dicey on the road. One of the maneuvers they learn is the J-turn. This slick move lets them quickly spin the car 180 degrees to change direction in an instant. Super handy when trying to get out of a tight spot fast. Or perhaps you missed your turn and don't want to have to wait at the next light. Agents also master the pit maneuver, which involves tapping the rear quarter panel of a suspect's car to make it spin out and stop. It's all about precision and timing. Then there's the serpentine, where they weave through a series of tight turns at high speed to shake off any threats. Definitely a little more advanced than the stuff me and you did to get our driver's license. Members of the public are rightfully going to be upset when those being tasked with protecting fail to do their jobs correctly, especially if it comes off as negligent. But do you think these catastrophic mistakes are due to lack of training? Regardless of the answer to that question, it is clear that the Secret Service headquarters has been responsible for many important tasks throughout history of the United States and will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. Bye for now.